The car pulled up at Tupac. Car pulled right here. Tupac at this light. Car went that way. I was living right here in 1996 when Tupac. Right here. I ain't never told nobody. Only the close people with me know.
I mean, when I left that hospital, me and Pac was laughing and joking. So I don't see how somebody can turn from doing well to doing bad.
So you seriously think that he might still be alive?
I'm gonna tell you this, Pac, you never know.
That's Pac, man. He was the outlaw. And Reg from Hollow Back is trying to be friendly and get autographs.
So he was conscious on the way to the hospital?
He was conscious on the way to the hospital. He was conscious in the ambulance. He was conscious after they did the surgery.
What was the last thing that he said to you?
They left.
Tupac Shakur was involved in an incident on September 7th, however didn't officially pass until the 13th, even though Suge Knight revealed that he was healthy in the hospital. So what happened in those 6 days in between remains a mystery until today, as this leads many to believe the rapper is still alive out there somewhere, as many believe Tupac faked his passing in order to escape the war between East and West Coast rap. But to understand everything, we first need to dive deeper into the original story of how Tupac allegedly passed away. As according to reports, on September 7th, 1996, Tupac was in Vegas with the head of his record label named Suge Knight. These two went to the MGM Grand to watch a Mike Tyson match, as after it was over, they would then spot an op inside of the lobby of the MGM. While at the scene, another friend of theirs was with them. He was known as Trey. Trey allegedly spotted a member of the C's, known as Baby Lane. He then went and tried to warn Tupac, stating that Baby Lane is over in the corner. This is then when Tupac supposedly went up to Baby Lane and asked him if he was from the South, to which Tupac immediately started swinging on the man, causing a massive altercation inside of the MGM. It got so aggressive security had to come and break it up. Tupac and Suge Knight would then go back to their hotel rooms to change. They then went off to a club party for the night. At 11 p.m., the two were then pulled over for listening to their music too loud, as well as driving without license plates. However, their license plates were in the trunk of their vehicle, as the police officer then forced them to put the license plates back on. A few minutes later, a Cadillac was then stopped by. A mystery man would then hop out of the back left seat, begin using a firearm towards Tupac and Suge Knight, as Tupac was then hit multiple times. Suge Knight as well. However, Suge Knight was able to drive off for about a mile before getting pulled over again, to which the police officer then immediately rushed them to the local hospital. At the scene, Tupac was originally in critical, as Tupac stayed in the hospital for a very long time. Suge Knight was released earlier as not much damage had been done to him. Then just a week later, precisely 6 days later on September 13th, Tupac allegedly would pass from the injuries that he had faced. However, oddly enough, the case was never solved, as recently Floyd Mayweather would state that he witnessed Tupac being targeted in Las Vegas on that night, stating that he lived right there.
The car pulled up at Tupac. Car pulled right here. Tupac at this light. Car went that way. I was living right here in 1996 when Tupac. Right here. I ain't never told nobody. Only the close people with me know.
However, it wasn't until Snoop Dogg revealed that he was supposed to be inside of that vehicle with Tupac and Suge Knight, where things would then turn very weird.
You were with Tupac, though, in regards to Tupac. I heard a story, did you give him different advice that night on where to go?
I didn't give him no advice.
Right.
We wasn't seeing eye to eye.
Right.
So.
Saying during the Tyson.
Yeah, this incident that I'm explaining to you right now was the day before that.
Okay.
So when they got to Vegas, they went their way, I went back. I mean, when we got to LA, they went to Vegas and I went home. That's why I wasn't in the car with them.
As some sources believe that Snoop Dogg was well aware of what was going to happen to Tupac on this night and was warned to not get inside of that vehicle with them. Or maybe if Snoop Dogg was inside of that vehicle, Tupac's plan of faking his passing would have been a lot more complicated, as it is very strange how the police never even cared enough to fully investigate who was behind the entire scheme. However, fans immediately started connecting the dots, and they believe that the notorious B.I.G. was the man behind the hit. split, as Biggie Smalls had been accused of going after Tupac in the past. Their beef started all the way back in 1994. Tupac had gone to the recording studio to record a verse. However, while walking in, three guys would jump him in the lobby, using firearms at Tupac and even snatching his diamond and gold chains. Coincidentally, Biggie Smalls and his crew were at the exact same studio when it all occurred. However, Biggie tried covering it up, saying it was just a coincidence and that he had nothing to do with it. But according to rumors, the story doesn't end there. Ever since Tupac was declared to have passed in 1996, theories of him faking his passing and still being alive began rising all over the internet and the news, as interviews from Suge Knight, who was Tupac's best friend and record label lead, was apparently stating that he was doing fine in the hospital before his passing, where Suge Knight would state, "When I left that hospital, me and Pac were laughing and joking. I don't see how someone can turn from doing so well to doing bad."
I mean, when I left that hospital, me and Pac was laughing and joking. So I don't see how somebody can turn from doing well to doing bad.
So you seriously think that he might still be alive?
I would say this, Pac, you never know.
However, what's really weird is that Tupac was supposedly in a deep sleep while he was at the hospital. So how in the world would he and Suge Knight be laughing if Tupac was unconscious? That doesn't seem to add up. However, then in the year 2018, Suge Knight's son would take it to Instagram, stating that Tupac was still alive and that he was living in Malaysia. As then Suge Knight Jr. would post another photo to his Instagram, a text conversation where somebody texted him, "You said too much. It's now time for you to go." This would make Suge Knight Jr. begin panicking, posting several photos of Tupac alongside modern-day celebrities such as 50 Cent and Beyonce. He made it seem like someone was after Suge Knight Jr. for leaking all of this new info. As on the pic with Tupac and Beyonce, he would caption it, "He never left us, but they will be after me soon." While many believe this was a publicity stunt for Suge Knight's son to gain social media clout, others believe that it was all factual, as if anyone knew Tupac was alive, it would be Suge Knight as well as his son Suge Knight Jr., considering his father was right there at the scene of the crime. Back in 2014, Suge Knight also told TMZ that Pac was alive and doing well.
So he was conscious on the way to the hospital?
He was conscious on the way to the hospital, he was conscious in the ambulance, he was conscious after they did the surgery.
What was the last thing that he said to you?
They left.
What was very weird was after he did that interview with TMZ, Suge Knight would then be targeted inside of a nightclub, and it could have ended very badly if he was only stuck around for a few more minutes. With the police trying to investigate the scene at the nightclub, Suge Knight was hesitant to tell the police anything. Many believe it was all connected to him talking to TMZ about Tupac being alive, as this would even lead into a rapper named Tretch, who was interviewed on the topic of Tupac before a show. Him and Tupac were very close friends back in the day, even working on a couple of albums together. But here's where things get very interesting. After Treach's interview, the cameraman forgot to stop recording, placing his camera onto the floor. In the footage, you can hear the interviewer asking him about Tupac, to which he responds, "Last time I saw him, he was in Cuba."
So if you ain't ready for it, get on the sidewalk.
One last question. Pop's still alive. Nobody knows. Y'all good? Yeah, we good. We good. Thanks a lot, man. We good.
Last time I saw him, he was in church.
Tupac being alive in Cuba is easily the most popular theory to this day. His aunt has been living in Cuba since 1994, after she was convicted of a very serious crime in the United States and had to escape. And then in the year 2018, a website called Reporters posted a photo of Pac allegedly partying with Rihanna in Cuba. Some say the photo is fake, but many believe that it is real. In fact, the Cuba theory has become so popular, famous rapper Kendrick Lamar even references it in his song titled Element, where he raps the words, "Mr. 1 through 5, that's the only logic. Fake my passing, go to Cuba, that's the only option." To even Eminem posting his own song of a freestyle, stating the lyrics, "A lot of talk and rumors on us, who's the hottest? To be honest, hip-hop ain't been the same since Pac moved to Cuba on us." Then in the year 2000, a video was released from a news website that showed a video of Tupac supposedly chilling in a parking lot in Cuba.
outlaw, and Reg from Holla Back is trying to be friendly and get autographs. Holla Back exclusive, baby. Holla Back.
However, the most convincing and interesting evidence was in 2012. Suge Knight would even state that the situation with Tupac's passing just wasn't right. Suge Knight would go on a radio show to state, and I quote, "Maybe the question is, Pac's not really gone, and that he's just somewhere else." Knight said live on the air, "Nobody even seen Tupac after it was announced that he passed. The person supposedly in charge of handling that situation got around $3 million, personally, from me, cash. Then the next thing I know is I never even heard from that guy or seen him again." As the man that was in charge of handling Tupac after it was announced would officially report a release statement stating that Tupac was 215 pounds. However, Pac was a very slim dude. Sitting at 5'9", most sources and even family say that he weighed only around 160 pounds. However, what's even weirder is a rumor releasing that Eminem allegedly knows a lot more about Tupac potentially being alive. Eminem was hugely impacted by the life and career of Tupac, as Eminem even stated this during an interview.
Tupac was the first rapper to me that could make you cry. Like I felt him that much. And, you know, me not knowing my dad and what's going on with my mom and the whole, like, it was just like, oh my God, that's me, you know?
As he even described where he was the exact moment he heard of his passing, which made it seem like nothing else even mattered at that moment.
Where were you in your career when Tupac?
Nowhere. When I heard that Tupac, I was cooking in a restaurant and tickets were piling up and I'm like, I don't care, fire me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, that was devastating.